So this is actually, I think, my second video that I have made on safety tips for cuckold men. The funny thing about this video is that I'm not really going to be supplying any safety tips here in this video, right? I am going to have a discussion, though, relating to some scenarios that I've encountered with men who have reached out to me via email, sharing their story, their fuck-ups, essentially, which I find to be quite funny and hilarious. Like, I can't sit up here and fake it with you guys, right? I find it to be amusing, to say the least. Some of the shit that y'all grown asses put yourself in. So for those who came to this video looking for some tips, listen closely. Hear me out. Because I'm going to give you some tips in this video. It's just not going to be the tips that you are looking for quite necessarily. Because this is a thing. Like, if I actually was to come on here, which, like I said, I made a video previously giving you guys some tips on navigating the road of cuckold. If I get on here and do that again for the second time, I'm wasting my time, okay? The thing about advice and the thing about offering tips in the form of advice is that it's useless if people don't take heed to it. You have to take heed to it for the advice to be effective. Which leads me to believe that I am very convinced that a lot of y'all men absolutely, unequivocally love abuse. You do. You get abused, right? You suffer these atrocities that you claim were mistakes and mishaps from failed relationships or failed attempts at getting your needs met. You turn around then and want to have a pity party about it. It's like you're soliciting compassion from people for things and experiences that you put yourself in. Like, you wanted the abuse. But then you turn around and you send me these emails wanting compassion from me and other people who are watching the video. You want people to feel sorry for you, to feel bad about your situation. And it's just like, how could you? Yo, these are grown ass men. It would be different. Not to say adults, we don't make mistakes, of course, right? But let me break it down. That's why I say I'm not going to come in here and give any tips or any advice. This is a candid, open, transparent discussion related to emails that I receive from men who have simply made poor decisions. right? It would be different if this came from children, which children, my videos aren't catered towards that type of audience at all, right? Children or teenagers. My audience is for people 18 and over. In fact, YouTube has showed me, according to my analytics, that children and teenagers do not watch my videos at all. Like, I have no one watching my videos under the age of 18, which is a good thing. I want to keep it that way. But it would be different if this was a child or this was an adolescent, right? And they were trying to find themselves. And through finding who they are, discovering what their true identity is surrounding sexual identity, gender identity, sexual expression, right? But these are men who are well into their 40s and 50s and above. And they want us to somehow be misled into believing that they somehow just stumbled into a bad relationship at 40 years old. Stumbled into a bad situation. Things happen that didn't go in their favor. Then they want to reach out and garner some kind of sympathy. I tell you, when I receive these emails, I can't help but laugh at their stories. Like, it is utterly amusing to me. And while I'm not going to go into too much detail relating to a recent email that I received, that I responded to, I'm not going to go into detail because I already told this person that I would prefer to hold off on my response in reply to his email following up with the video that I made. I'm going to hold off, right? Because I get it. A lot of people, a lot of beta men who follow me are attention deprived. So it's not about them seeking advice or them learning through my videos, right? It's about them getting attention. They just want attention, which I don't quite respond well to, right? Attention seekers in that way. Like, I get it. You did not get this attention at home. So any attention is good for you. I am not here to meet that void, though. I am not the one. But I even find it like amusing with his situation. The attorney in the UK, it's like, have you taken the time to look within yourself? A lot of these men don't take the time to look within themselves. This is the reason why they're seeking so much advice and so many tips outside of themselves, because they haven't really taken the time to search within, to understand who they are. They have not spent that time by themselves to really know who they are, right? They're trying to discover who they are through these relationships that they're trying out, they're testing out, they're experimenting with these different people. And yet they are still dissatisfied. I made a video in response to an email that I received from this black beta Cuckold, which I thought was the funniest thing, right? You guys can go back and watch that video. It's in my Cuckold series on YouTube. But he's the prime example. He's the epitome of the type of beta male that I'm talking about here in this video. He lays out the story, and as it goes, that he was dating this woman who, for them and their relationship, they had this contract, right? This mutually agreed upon contract where she would be agreeable to take advantage of him financially. This is what he wanted. All right, I have to take my time because I feel like when I speak too quickly, it doesn't seep in, right? It doesn't quite hit the right spot that it needs to. Some of y'all, you got to sit down and break things down very concretely for you to really understand and really to grasp the full essence of what I'm communicating here. He says that this was something they agreed upon for her to take advantage of him financially. Not only financially, but just to be the dominant one in that relationship. And I think this is another issue, is that a lot of people are so craved for attention and for degradation and to live out their fantasies that they don't take the time, number one, to get to know themselves, two, to get to know their partner, their potential playmate, and then three, to lay out these conditions, to lay out these expectations. Because we're talking about alternative sexual relationships here. Even in your vanilla relationships, there should be an optimum degree of communication where there is a clear understanding from both sides as to what the expectations are. What are we ascertaining to? What is the point of us coming together in this relationship? What do you desire? Can the other person help you fulfill that need? What is your perspective when it comes to pleasuring each other, whatever that means? And is it the other person's responsibility to pleasure, to meet that need? This is where it gets kind of tricky and iffy here. People do not take the time, as I said, let me repeat, to get to know themselves. So they try to explore that through other people. They don't take the time to get to know the other person. They don't even take the time to build that level of communication, intimacy between themselves and their partner. They don't take that time to do that. There's not an understanding. It's not really a real agreement, right? It's like people have these ideas that they keep within themselves. They don't communicate that directly and very candidly with their partner. Somehow they expect that things will just fall in place. They're going off of vibes, right? Thinking, okay, well, we're vibing, we're feeling each other. But you can't go off of vibes alone, right? And they're having these artificial, superficial, falling in love, Hollywood, makeshift relationships. It's not real. Then when the shit hit the fan, they're like, oh my gosh, I thought. Oh my gosh, it's not what I expected. It never was. You tried to make it be that way though, but it never was that. So this guy, he's like, yeah, I was consenting to her dominating me. I agreed for her to go out and have sex with other men. And before she did that, I would prepare her for that. I would cater to her needs. emotionally and sexually, getting her prepared so she can go out and be further pleased by a man of her choosing. Then I will be waiting for her, like her little bitch, for her to come back and be with me. Now, to each his own. We all have fantasies. But I think that, and I've said this so many times over, that it's necessary to understand what is driving your fantasy. What unmet need or void do you have that is driving your fantasy from a psychological perspective? You can choose to do what you do because you're an adult and you're going to do it anyway. But what is driving that? Something is driving that need for you to deliberately choose to be walked on and stepped on and mistreated and degraded. This is no judgment, but it is what it is. What is driving you to that point? Something. What unmet need do you have? Only you can answer this. See, this is the real questions here. Only you can answer this. And when you go through that deep soul searching and you understand, okay, what's driving that, then it's up to you to make that decision, the next decision as to should you act on that? And if you should, how should you act on that? Involving another person into your unhealed traumas may not be the best course of action unless you are thoroughly and properly prepared to deal with that undertaking. Do you know what that entails? If you are choosing, and listen, some people choose death. Some people choose misery. Some people choose drama. They say, oh, yes, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to choose drama today. Right? If you choose that, then you choose the consequences of that. Because we're adults here. That is what it means to be an adult, a responsible adult. You are fully aware of the consequences of your actions, not blaming anyone else, taking full responsibility. So, having come to this awareness of who you are after some deep soul searching and what's driving your fantasies of being degraded, humiliated, mistreated, financially abused, cuckolded. Or is it cuckold? You guys get what I'm saying. When you come to that realization of what's driving you in this space, right? In this dark space. And then you've decided on how you're going to, if you're going to act on that desire, after exploring what's driving it, are you going to act on it, and how you're going to act on it. And then if you so choose, drama or dysfunction, as one may say, or darkness, you choose that, then you choose the outcome of that. And then you're also choosing, because you're not doing it by yourself solely, right? Like you're doing this with, hopefully, a willful participant who has consented A person can't fully consent if they are not fully informed. That's why they term it informed consent. How can you consent to something if you are not aware, if you have been deceived? Right? This is the reason why I told this other person who emailed me that I will hold off on a response, because there's deception, there's deceit, there's lies, there's misinformation, there's lies, all up in the mix. And it's like, no. Okay? You're not going to triangulate me into that foolishness. Right? We can get on here and we can talk about our sexual fantasies all day. We can talk about our sexual experiences all day. But let's be real about it. Understand that while you may be very much well capable of manipulating, misguiding, and getting someone else to participate in your shenanigans, I'm not the one. I see straight through bullshit many, many miles away. So going back to this black man, this black beta male cuckold who shares his experience with me via email and is seeking my response, he comes to realize that, oh no, this isn't what I want. And in fact, she threw me away. After I let her take advantage of me financially, after I gave her permission to go fuck other men, and then I cleaned up her sloppy seconds, after I let her do all of that, and I was a willing participant in this, she threw me away. She abandoned me. I felt like, damn, I wonder if I could truly find love. And I can't help but laugh, this is what you want. But you want to be in control, right? You want to be the person who controls the narrative, the story of how things unfold. Telling her what to do. So are you truly submissive? Are you truly beta? If you are, as they call it, topping from the bottom, because you're saying that she's a dominant one, but then you're telling her how to dominate you. No, you don't get the privilege of choosing the outcome. You don't get that privilege. She chose the outcome of how things would end. And in fact, she decided she no longer wanted to participate in your fantasy. So she threw you away. And that was that. Now you feel abandoned. Now, you're forced to revisit what's driving these fantasies. Do you need to be reminded? Because she served that reminder up to you very well on a nice silver platter. Your abandonment issues were once again triggered by her leaving you. Untimely, or perhaps timely. You feel some kind of way about that? No, because it all goes back, to the basic principles. It's like we have to understand life through understanding ourselves. This is the reason why I always say I keep promoting the need for us to get to know who we are and what life is about. Because when you come to that existential moment and you gain this deeper awakening of who you are, what life is, right? And you really understand like who you are, right? Because with that awakening, like you gain a better appreciation for yourself, a love for yourself. A lot of y'all motherfuckers don't love yourself. That's the problem, right? And so like life will teach you. This is why I say it's so important. If you do it yourself, life doesn't have to teach you it. Life will teach you inadvertently because you aren't willing to learn. These are lessons that are hard lessons, but they will be taught and you will learn them unwillingly, but you have no choice, right? Because that is what life is about. This is why I laugh, because it's like you have people like myself, I'm sure I'm not the only one, who get on here, right? And granted, I admit it, right? This is my hobby. I do this shit for fun. This is all shits and giggles, right? I do this very effortlessly. This is what I enjoy doing. But there are people like myself, other people that we will seriously consider your stories, right? We put thought into our videos. And some of us actually do care. We can relate to you guys. We get on here and we create videos like this, providing these very selfless tips on how you cannot be another victim of abandonment or end up, like this one person said, end up in a very fucked up ass situation that you did not even plan for. People, they thought everything was all smooth and all peaches and cream and all dandy, and then come to find out they get stood up, paying for hotels, driving miles and miles and miles to meet some random unknown person because they want to live out their fantasies. And lo and behold, they're in for a freaking nightmare. This is all your karma. You need to take some time to get to know yourself. I keep saying that. We keep coming back around to that. You can listen to me and learn the safe way, or go out there and have fun. Live in your excitement and learn the hard way. These are people in their 40s and 50s, though. You don't have to be in that situation making these careless mistakes. You know, I get emails from people saying, oh, I wish that I would have saw your video before I embarked on this journey of sexual exploration, of cuckolding, of doing something outside the box because I want to be spontaneous. They made so many mistakes, some that they can't undo. Babies have come out of these mistakes, unwanted babies, because they're out there having fun, putting themselves in harm's way. That's what you choose. You choose danger. Some people really do wake up. I choose danger today. Because deep down inside, they really don't love themselves. They don't. They're searching for love. Trying ever so hard to find it. And the truth of the matter is, right? Well, we like who we like. We're attracted to who we're attracted to, right? But a lot of what I see from these beta men, which really, in fact, they are homosexual. is that they have been searching, trying to find themselves, dating women that they will never marry. They will never marry. They're not even really attracted to. They're doing it because that's what's the socially acceptable thing to do. You end up with a man, another man. But even he doesn't satisfy you. Because it's like what you're craving is not something tangible. It's not something a person could really fulfill. They can't. It's something that you missed out on. You will never get it from a woman. That's why a lot of men find themselves between the legs of so many different women. Yet they still have this emptiness. Why is that? I mean, after having sex with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, however many number of women that you've slept with, you would think you would be fulfilled, right? But you're still, if in fact, you've driven yourself deeper into the abyss. You're feeling more empty than you have ever felt before. The more women that you sleep with. Then you cross over, okay, maybe it's different on the other side. Trying something a little different. You're continuing to explore really who you are, but through your sexuality. It's not really sexual exploration. It's self-exploration that you're doing. You're exploring yourself through sexuality. Perhaps you think it's easier, but you're up for a rude awakening. Sex is spiritual. You have to be careful who you intertwine your loins with, who you lie down with, even for men. You know, a lot of times this narrative is shared amongst women, right? Because we hold the womb, we have the opening, we receive, right? So when we have sex, we're receiving this energy of the male force. But no, even men, you are also receiving energy. Just because you have a phallus that you can insert into other people doesn't mean that you're not receiving energy back. This is a misconception. If anything, you're losing a lot of energy. You're losing the life force. You're being sucked of your energy. Trying to receive, but you're still not able to. Right? Trying to fill this void that will never be filled. Then you cross over. Then you think you can put yourself in the receiving end to receive the life force of another man, the energy of another man through your anus. To no avail. Still empty. Right? You think, okay, well maybe I'll try with one guy. He's attractive. Well hung black man. Try it with him. It feels good in the moment. Maybe. What are the odds? Then still not happy. So you try someone else. It's like you're chasing after that high, the first high that you will never get back again. Trying to fill a void. Much like an addiction. You are entering into a very tricky and dangerous road. Listen, don't take my word for it, though. Like I say, I'm not here to give advice or tips, right? I'm just here to explore with you guys these ideas, these emails that I've received, and my thoughts on such. Why do people become addicts? Drug addicts. Same reason why people become sex addicts. Usually it's trauma. Unhealed trauma. They're trying to fill a void that is never going to be filled. The first time they get high, right? That high, whether it be a drug high or a sexual high. Oh, it's good because it's an escape from reality. It meets a certain need in that moment, but it doesn't fill the void that continues to grow deeper and deeper. This empty hole that gets deeper and deeper. So you go and try it again. Okay? You gotta get this high again. Notice the second time you get high is less in intensity. It's just not the same. Like, damn, why can't I get this same feeling I got the first time? It's never the same. You're like, fuck, all right. That motherfucker was weak, right? You attribute it to that person. Try someone else. Even more disappointed. Try someone else. They may bring some excitement, okay. A little different than the second, the third. Now it's like gambling. Because you're being reinforced on this schedule that's really not consistent. It's not consistent. So it's like you're getting sucked in even deeper and deeper. That's the tricky part about behavior, yo. You have to know yourself. You gotta know what's happening within yourself and how you are being shaped. You're shaping yourself. But you're also being shaped by these experiences that you choose. The first time may have been a great experience. The second time, shitty. Third time, shitty. Fourth time, okay. Giving you some more hope. This might be what I need. Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth time, whack. And it's just like, what is it going to take before you realize, like, this isn't, it may be fun, but what does this fun cost me? Right? And I am going to respond. I don't know if he's watching. He's probably watching. The attorney from the UK. I am going to respond to your last email that I said, let's hold off, check back in 6 months with an update. I am not here to convince anyone. Please understand that. I have better things to do to try to convince anybody of anything. I only can just share openly, uninhibitedly with you guys my perspective. That's all I can do. This is me, right? I'm sharing with you myself. You can take it, you can leave it. You can disagree, you can agree. That's up to you. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I don't have to. I don't gain anything from convincing anyone of anything. Like I said, I just sit back and laugh at your mistakes. It's funny to me. It's all entertainment. I read your emails and I laugh, yo. It's laughing stock. Maybe you like being laughed at. Maybe you like being humiliated. You get off on that, okay? That feeds into your own insecure self. Your low self-esteem having self. So in response to my video I made on the black cuckold, right? He saw my video and he goes the fuck, yo, he was so pissed. It was like, you're muddying the waters, right? Because he felt like I destroyed his fantasy because now he has a change of heart. As you should have a change of heart because you come to your senses. But I'm muddying the waters. No, the waters were already muddied, okay? You can't muddy something that's already fucked up from the beginning. I just opened your eyes to it. You didn't want me to open your eyes. So now that your eyes are open, you're obligated to make responsible decisions with yourself. Oh my gosh, that's the most terrible thing ever. Now you gotta be a responsible adult here. I really wish these people would get outside my window. Get the fuck from outside my goddamn window. You're distracting me. But what more else can I say to this? It's like, I can just read between the lines and just see straight through the wording, like, of these emails that I receive from you guys who really devalue yourself. It's like, okay, the world, I get it, coming up, your parents, your family devalue you, or you were mistreated, you were neglected, right? Your parents were emotionally unavailable, emotionally detached, right? You didn't get the proper nurturing or consistent attention and affection and responsiveness that you should have gotten as a child, so of course that carries over and that lingers and follows you through your developmental stages as a child, as an adolescent, right? Like how we were raised. And this is a fact. This is beyond theory. It's so evident and clear. It's like how we were raised within the first 5 years shapes who we are, our personality. Then after that, like who we are is who we are in the world, how we interact with the world, what we attract in our interactions with other people as children, as adolescents, why we continue to be mistreated and overlooked, right? Because you don't have a voice, or you don't feel that your voice is important. Because you don't feel important, right? Not that you're not important. You don't feel that you are important. You never felt that way. That you matter. You're constantly seeking validation. And it's clear when you guys send me these emails that you're seeking my validation. Like, I'm not going to reinforce your own insecurities by responding to you right away. Or responding to you at all, for that matter. I have so many emails that I have not responded to deliberately. catch it, you catch it. I'm like, you need to take some time to do some deep soul searching. And then once you do, you might find that this thing that you crave, these desires and fantasies that you have, you're not even interested in anymore. As for me, though, I already shared with you guys, like, listen, I've seen a psychoanalyst as part of my doctoral training to become a psychologist. And she tried to heal me. Right? I'm like, I already knew, like going in, like, hold on, you can't sit here and analyze an analyst, right? But I allow her to. I was receptive to her interventions, her interpretations. I considered what she said. And although she did not change me, right? She didn't, like, my desire is still there to be dominated, not humiliated. I don't like that part of it. But, to be told what to do, to be controlled, like that shit ain't going away. To be spanked, to be beaten, that's not going away. But it made me appreciate the gift of submission that I have, that I could give a person who I deem to be worthy of receiving it. See, the issue here with you guys is that you don't even value the gift that you have. Like what you're willing to give to these potential partners in the form of being a cuckold, it's a great gift. Being a man who has a wife that you're willing to take care of, on top of that, you're allowing her to be pleasured by another man, right? That's a big gift. But if you don't know your own value, then you have this gift. The gift is really worthless because it's coming from a person who doesn't value themselves, devalues themselves. And you expect the gift that you have of being a cuckold or being a submissive to be appreciated by this person, but you don't value you. You don't. Now, granted, once you start to value yourself, the dynamics of your relationship will change. That's the scary part, because that's why I say when people are codependent of each other, it's not that they can't think independently. That's not what codependence is. It's that the mere fact that you and another person are together is because you are in a toxic way feeding their insecurities. You are feeding into things that they really need to improve upon themselves. And vice versa, they are feeding into your insecurities, your imperfections. They're feeding into that in a very toxic way. So that if either one of you were to get therapized, right? You get therapy and you improve upon yourself, even in the slightest bit, that relationship would be shattered to pieces. That's what codependency is. It could not stand. And that's, think about it, that's toxic as fuck. That's toxic. A lot of families are codependent. They only function dysfunctionally because there's a person who is an alcoholic. The moment the alcoholic recovers, gets help, gets better, so to speak, it affects every relationship in the family dynamic that person had. Every single relationship is shattered. is broken. And like you think that no, the relationships would improve, but no, they don't. They get worse because this person gets better, right? That's how you know you are codependent. Codependency is a toxic trait. Doesn't mean that you can't think independently. It's not about thinking necessarily. It's about the interconnectedness of behavior that serves to further perpetuate these negative toxic cycles between people. That's what codependency is. I get it why people are afraid to look within themselves to heal. Right? To improve upon themselves when they're in a relationship, because when you do, yes, you run the risk. There's a huge threat to that relationship's viability. And there stands a very strong chance that that shit it's not going to stand. See, that's how you can tell relationships that were built on toxicity, were built on codependency and trauma bonding. Because a moment, and it happens, sometimes it happens kind of inadvertently, where people somehow, we grow, we mature, right? Couples, they do this. And somehow, one person begins to wake up a little bit, like, damn, right? And they start to really step into themselves. And they improve. They get better. What's wrong with self-improvement, right? But that shatters the relationship. The relationship is going to die because that relationship was built on toxicity, not on that person being a whole person, being a healed person. It wasn't built on that. It was built on you being this fragmented individual, this insecure person. Sit with that for a minute, y'all. I get it. Like I said, I understand fully why people don't want to take that time to look within themselves. And trying to explore their sexuality. They just want to act on it. They say, all right, let me try this out. Just run the risk. Let's see what happens. They take that up. Let's see what happens. Right? And you can do that. You can take that approach and just see what happens. And then come back and let me know how it went. Because I can guarantee you, I can tell you how it's going to go, but I would rather you go out and see for yourself. I can see how it's going. I can predict with absolute certainty. This is what I do. This is what I do. I study behavior. Good, well-trained, well-versed psychologists. When we study behavior, we are good at predicting behavior, controlling behavior, manipulating behavior. That's just what we do. Some of y'all are really good at doing that too, until it comes to your own. Right? You're good at trying to manipulate someone else. Do you really have the discipline within yourself to control yourself? To press pause on those urges that you are experiencing, to vicariously through your wife, because it's all through you. Like you're using your wife. This woman, I said this before, this is a backdoor approach. Cuckolding is a backdoor approach to homosexuality. You have that urge to be with another man. I'm talking to men here. That's who watch my videos. According to YouTube, over 99% of my viewers are men. I don't know how that happened. But it's like, that's what you want to do ultimately. You want to be emasculated, because that's what's going to happen. Baby, ain't no way around it. See, other people ain't going to tell you the truth, right? We live in a society. Everything is smoky mirrors. So much illusion happening. Misinformation. People aren't being honest and real. You got to find out for yourself. Then when you go experiment, and you realize then you are the one to tell the story, right? Because you've been there, done that, and lived that. People aren't going to tell you this. They're not living in their truth. They're not being 100% honest. These men will not tell you this. I encourage you to go around some real men. When I say real men, I mean honest men who have dibbled and dabbled and allowed themselves to act on their urges to be penetrated by another man. Like an honest man. That's what I mean by a real man. An honest man who can honestly tell you what that was like. Not just sexually now. Right? It's easy. That's the easy part, telling you what it was like sexually. But what was it like psychologically, emotionally? And are you ready for that? What comes along with that? Don't think you're going to leave unchanged. Don't think you're going to get up from that bed unchanged and unhinged after you are bent over. And a man penetrates you anally. It's much different than getting penetrated by your wife wearing a strap on. Much, much different. You're talking about another man penetrating you, emasculating you, and you being in this state of wanting to receive and have this void fill, because that's deep down inside on a spiritual level. Sex is spiritual. That's what you're seeking through these sexual interactions and trying to fulfill these sexual fantasies. You're craving for this void to be filled. Symbolically, you might get filled up with cum in your anus. But when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, and hopefully you will explore this before the end of the day, right? After it's all said and done, right? That's the whole point. Because you got to know, are you ready and able to live with the consequences? Because oftentimes in this world, right, of just sexual freedom and exploration and gender fluidity and all of this fun stuff and BDSM and homosexuality and LGBTQ, like in the midst of all of this is a bunch of people. We're just people, right? We're just humans who have lots of trauma, and oftentimes we act out that trauma through these sexual experiences, which become like pacifiers in a sense. They are able to kind of numb the pain a little bit, but the pain is still there, right? Like you're able to have these dopaminergic experiences, that dopamine release through orgasm with another person. And so being amidst other people who that's essentially what they're seeking. I make it sound like it's just a bunch of sex addicts, right? But I mean, whatever you want, however you want to label it, right? People say it's just sexual freedom, covering up what it really is, sexual promiscuity, right? It is what it is. Being amongst these people, it's like you oftentimes run into people who just want to not. You're seeking this connection, but meanwhile you feel abandoned because this person They just wanted a nut. And you're just another piece of ass. You picked them, though, which you have every right to do. But does it fix the situation, though, that really lies deep within yourself, that you almost have grown numb to, but you really can't ignore it because it's there. It won't let you forget, you know? It's why on your face, you can't really feel happy, right? It's like you're trying to feel happy, you're trying to smile, but you can't really experience the fullness of happiness because that void is there. I think I've said enough. I feel like sometimes I go too deep in my videos, right? But that's just who I am. And this is me interacting and communicating with you guys just via video, right? Me creating videos, not even interacting necessarily with these people. I could go there. That's a whole nother level, though. And it even goes deeper if we're in person, face to face. Because this energy don't lie. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, though. Share your comments below. Or maybe not. Just take some time to reflect. Let me know how it goes, though. Listen, because I'm always up for a good story. This shit is exciting. It's entertaining. And we always got to be serious. You know, we all grown. We all can take the consequences of our actions. So I know one thing. Like when I have my fun, though I put myself on a little restriction. It's kind of, a little bit more than a little, right? Actually going on, we're in 2023. I think it was 2021. January 2021 was the last time I was sexually active. So a little over 2 years. A little hiatus, a little restriction. And I feel good about it. I have my moments where, I'm like, damn, that shit will feel so good if I get my goddamn guts banged the fuck out, you know? But then it's like, she gotta be perfect for me. The stars gotta be aligned. Everything gotta be in the right, proper placement, okay? For that day to come. Because I just feel like I love myself too much, you know? And sex is very sacred to me. It's always been sacred, you know? It's just, for a lot of people, it's not. And that's where the problems come. So, with that being said, yes, I know for me, you know, when that day comes, and it will come when I want it to, where I have my fun. I like to share my fun with you guys. I don't mind it, you know. I've done it before. You know, when it's good and when it's bad, it's just like, I get on here and do my little rants. I'm about to wrap this video up. I had a very long day today at the hospital. Some very difficult patients, to say the least. But that's why I am here, and that's what drives me. I love challenges. So, yes, I do welcome you guys to reach out, to send your emails. A lot of times I don't respond because it's just garbage. You know, I'm up for a really good story. You don't have to fabricate, though. Think about life. I feel like they say truth is stranger than fiction. It truly is. You don't have to fabricate. You got to make up something. When I detect that you're lying, that's when I shut down communication because I'm not here for that, right? Unless you make it known, okay, this is a hypothetical situation, right? We're imagining. But don't sit up here and try to play me as if I don't know the truth and I don't see between the bullshit. Right? Because then I feel like you're insulting my intelligence, and we have a big problem with if it comes to that, which I shut that shit down even before it gets to that. Okay? So yeah, drop your comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. This was fun. I really enjoyed this discussion.